So a while back I asked you for your worst possible hot takes, and boy did you guys deliver. So I'm going to be talking about them as a competitive player and just give my overall thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into it. But actually, before we get into it, this video was recorded a while back, and I mean a while back. I am only reading off the script, so I am no longer responsible for any of the opinions I gave. Anyways, so starting us off, we have Rose, and they're saying that Clan Blitz is a good mode. This isn't really an unpopular opinion. That's why I think it's the least bad. I do think Clan Blitz is actually a good mode when you get the right team, but you can also argue this for the rest of the modes. Clan Blitz is actually fun. It's my favorite mode. I think a lot of the hate is unjustified and biased to the cheese, which just got patched, and it needing heavy coordination, but again you can argue the same for the other modes. Clan Blitz obviously has its flaws, but let's look at the other modes. Splat Zones, I want to make its own separate video on that. Tower Control has a massive passive special field issue, and Rainmaker is only somewhat bad because the game's maps don't enable the free movement the Rainmaker is supposed to entice. So I do feel like Clan Blitz is the winner here, especially after the patch. So next we have Kugo saying Turf War isn't bad and people are just obsessed with having an objective. Now I didn't comment on this one because I'm partially neutral, but upon further thought I do think this needs elaboration, like as to why people are obsessed with an objective. So the way I see it is like this. Rather than giving the players something to do, as in a goal they need to achieve, an objective makes each match unique. For example, even though this game's maps don't enable the Rainmaker to take different paths each time, looking at you, Marlin Airport and Museum d'Alfonsino, some of the stages do actually enable this, and when they do, it actually feels fun to play. If you're stuck playing the game the exact same way each time, it gets boring. There's also knockouts which make it so that the losing team can opt out earlier if they're losing way too badly, and they're just not in Turf War, and this is where spawn camping is a huge issue. When you're being spawn camped, are you having fun? No, I didn't think so. When you get knocked out, it's basically just ending your suffering so you can move on, but for Turf War you just have to endure the match for however long the match is going to last, and it ruins the fun in my opinion. Also, Turf War objective is the same every time and doesn't add any fun new ways to play the game. Another reason why I don't like Splat Zones, and I get bored of it really easily. So last one for this part is from Hank Schneck. Pardon me if I said that wrong, and he's saying that tomorrow's nostalgia today is better than We're So Back. This is here because I agree with it. I know a bit about music production, so I'm going to try my best here, but tomorrow's nostalgia today just sounds more energetic and fits the theme of the second day. I was arguing about this with my admin Argentu, which is why we made the Hot Takes channel in the first place, and mentioned how We're So Back fits the Day 2 theming for a couple of square, but I disagreed with them because Day 2 Square has so much energy and lights, and We're So Back just sounds unenergetic and repetitive until you get to the chorus, which I don't particularly like either, which I won't get into, and it adds a bit of variety. Tomorrow's nostalgia today has the energy that matches up with the theming of the plaza, and the loop is absolute peak. So now we move on to the middle. Hot takes that aren't bad but aren't that good either. Starting us off, we have, well, you can read that name, and they're saying that Off the Hook sucks because Pearl ruins the mood. Now I'm gonna go off script here because past me was too lazy to write the rest of the script, but I'm a bit biased. I just really don't like Pearl, but I won't get into that. It's kind of a personal thing, but I'm a bit biased, so I am going to agree with this one. Hate on me all you want, but I will never change. I know my profile picture contradicts that statement, but like, I was a different man then. Anyways, moving on, we have this hot take from TS saying that Octo expansion is better than Side Order. Side Order has been out for almost 5 months now, and enough time has passed, and Octo expansion will always be the GOAT. Side Order is supposed to be replayable, but even Salmon Run, which is what it resembles, almost has better replayability somehow. Salmon Run has unique weapon rotations every 2 days, changing it up by adding super fun overpowered weapons in the rotation, which is really fun, and in Side Order you kinda just have to wait to become overpowered, and that's when it actually gets fun, like shredding tank enemies en masse in a rigorous level. In Octo expansion, it was still challenging, making it actually fun. Also, Octo expansion's vibe just hit different. The 80s vibe was really nice and the music fit it well, along with the story being really good, which Side Order also fails to do. And Octo expansion also had more content, more variety, and a secret boss. Oh, and gambling. And finally, there's a lot of these. The absolute worst hot takes I got from you guys when I sent out this message, and there's a lot. Starting us off, we have Lord Louse, who's actually saying the Tetris map design is actually good. So the downvotes speak for themselves on this one, but I was shocked to hear this from Laos because he had placed second in my tournament, and I had just assumed they were looking for a really bad hot take. So the map design in this game has been a big conversation since the beginning of the game's life, and I think the map's not enabling you to go anywhere without going through mid first. It's not fun. Going through mid is very risky, especially if the enemy team has control. So sometimes Slayer weapons, like a shot or a carbon roller, weapons I play, need to flank to get an advantageous position for them and their team to use to take back the game. But when maps like Hammerhead Bridge only let you get to those advantageous positions by either going through mid or being seen easily by people in mid, it can be really hard to do so, which causes lockouts and knockouts, leading back to the spawn camping issue I mentioned in Turf War. I lost an Anarchy series today because I was getting locked out on Hammerhead Bridge zones, and since the objective doesn't move to us to make it easier to defend when we respawn, it was impossible to retake mid and get the zone back because Hammerhead only has 2 ways to go, literally, and it was not fun at all. Next, we have this absolutely malicious hot take from Shinobi. Rom-EN is overrated. So let me address his reasoning. Flanks are only really predictable if you analyze playstyles or are constantly aware of all your surroundings. I really doubt you'd constantly be checking the map or looking around for flanks, and if they were that easy to predict, then they would serve no purpose. Splatoon 3 is a very fast-paced game, and I think there's a lot to process, so sometimes predicting a flank is impossible. Additionally, I've taken back entire games because of Rom-EN's flanks. It's like sometimes when I play Carbon on, let's say, Rainmaker, this part here is very easy to get to with a Ninja Squid build, and I just Squid Surge here to get to the vantage point by the pedestal to take down some players, making it easier for us to defend. And then the choke point issue, I'd say that's only really an issue on tower control, where the map is at its weakest in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll change some of my opinions too, but anyways, that's all I got. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to make your own hot takes, join my Discord server linked in the description, and have a good one.